I really wish school wasn't as light as it is now. I really wish there was some. It's like when I say light and when I say dark, it's like it's like light. It's lofty. It's okay. It's like it's like keep it cushiony and dark, heavy. Whether it be emotionally heavy, whether it be like psychologically heavy. Thing it's like hard truths to deal with, hard things to realize and to carry and to deal with. This that tough topics, trigger warning required shit. Dark shit. I wish there was some form of dark training in schools. So we would have people that are willing to like ready and willing to like, this is the ugly truth. All right. I actually thought it'd be a little worse. What do we do?
It depends on the type of problems, though. I'm not sure if school is the one to be able to teach that.
True.
And should they?
Life has peaks and valleys. No matter the situation that you are in, no matter what situation you're in, you could be lower class, middle class, upper class, your life will have peaks and valleys. Your valley might be someone else's peak depending on what class you're in. But that doesn't exclude the fact that there are peaks and valleys in your life. Life goes up, down, up, down, up, down. You have an emotional wheel that just turns and turns and turns. You could have just won that $1 billion lottery. That does not mean you're not going to have a low at some point in the future. It's like that's one thing that you cannot escape in life. Ups and downs. So you're asking, should schools have something implemented to prepare children for valleys, for lows? I don't see why.
I was asking more for the whole problems deal.
I mean, but that's
Like
the thing.
if there's a problem, then there's a solution. My issue with that is if what kind of problems are we talking about? Because there may be some problems that shouldn't be brought forth by teachers in the first place, because there may be different people with different viewpoints, and they have a different solution for these problems. I
Like
get
what?
what you're saying if it's just like on a mental health sort of steel.
Well, I mean,
Is
yeah,
like,
it
all right,
varies.
I mean, that's why they have guidance counselors in schools, don't they? They're supposed to be there in order to help the children that
Son,
are
those
far
guidance
behind.
counselors were useless when I was in school.
So there's an issue right there then that we could focus on. Why the fuck are they useless? It's like we got so many kids going into college becoming psychiatrists. Why aren't those psychiatrists applying to be more of these guidance counselors? Or is that what's going on? Are these guidance counselors just the ones that failed in psychiatry to make it big?
Funny.
That's a legitimate question though. It's like I understand what you're saying. It's like if you're trying to like prepare children in order to like for those lows, for those bad times. It's like give them something to look forward to. It's like it doesn't have to end here. It's like you just starting out, bro. It's like, child, you haven't even begun life yet. Don't get down on this little molehill right
Not
here.
it's like not so much. Yeah, not so much of them. Not so much of the low bringing them down, but them being able to channel it. Like, okay,
Channel it.
people weren't getting triggered back when I was like in elementary and middle school.
Back when we had bullies.
See, and okay, all right, let's talk about the bullies that used to be in school before the zero tolerance. Let's talk about the bullies that used to be in school.
Before the
Bullies
millennial bullies
were,
became a thing.
huh?
Before the millennial bullies became a thing.
Oh Jesus, it's like bullies used to be basically darkness that would just seep throughout the schools. If it was a good bully, and I know that sounds like an oxymoron, like if it was somebody really good at being a bully, I mean a menace to society. He was literally walking darkness in the school halls. But the thing was, it's like all those children that were exposed to that bully had to learn to hold that darkness, channel it. They had to be able to get through it and hold it. Nobody is like, if you have zero bullies in a school and everything is hunky-dory, and you keep, I'm not saying that we need bullies in school, but I'm saying there needs to be some form of darkness training for children, because when they don't have any training to deal with darkness, you end up with people that can become triggered because they're unfamiliar with the pressure. They don't know how to deal with that weight, that emotional weight that comes with anything dark, and they try to dispel it as soon as they come in contact with it. That's how you have these triggered people and these meltdowns.
Yeah, we do seem to have an epidemic of that these days.
So you have it's like, but oh my gosh. And it doesn't help. It doesn't help when it's like the natural way that you would learn to deal with darkness started getting downplayed too. At first I was talking about when I was like in elementary school and or in middle school. But when I was in high school, it was rule of thumb. It became very normal to shame anybody that was quote unquote in their feelings. Son, whenever something has upset you and you get in your feelings, it's like that's basically your body going through that training. It's like you need to be able to process that shit. But if everybody and their mama has normalized shaming people that are quote unquote in their feelings, people start trying to avoid it altogether. That's not how you adjust. That's not how you do that.
Now, can you specify what you mean by in your feelings?
Okay, in your feel like okay, maybe you've heard the phrase like you've heard somebody say it's like, oh, you mad? It's like, oh, you big mad. Like trying to play down the fact that the person is feeling anything at all about the situation.
Right.
And trying to shame them because they're feeling anything at all.
So what they should the child in question, the feeling person in question should just be a rock?
Exactly. And if they're a rock, it's like you are bypassing the training of dealing with those heavier feelings. You have to get your weight up. And I need people to get their weight up because some of the bigger issues are heavy upon entry. If you have zero emotional lifting power and you're easily triggered and can't handle any type of like harsh reality on anything, you're screwed.
Or you end up coagulating with the other group of people that have issues dealing with those heavy issues, and y'all just become one big mess.
I'm tired of mess.